House of Commons and the House of Lords. So perhaps I could start by asking Mr. Murray. First of all, we want to sort of pin down what you aren't alleging, as well as going on then to what you are. And your memo refers to torture in Uzbekistan in 2002-3. Was this torture all conducted by the UK authorities, or were any UK or US agents directly involved?
Torture was not conducted by any UK authorities, and there were never, to my knowledge, any UK agents directly involved in committing torture. US authorities, the US Secret Service, the CIA in particular, had very, very close liaison with the Uzbek security services, which I was well aware of at the time. I wasn't aware, while I was ambassador, of any direct US involvement in the torture. My understanding was, in effect, that they were supplying questions and then getting the answers. Recently...
that's American agents?
American agents,
okay.
Yeah. Earlier this year, I had the opportunity to meet a defector from Uzbek security services, a Major Yakubov, who has since been given a political asylum in this country. I had a long talk with Mr. Yakubov, who seems to me very credible, and he alleges he was actually present at an interrogation session where a prisoner was being beaten with a CIA agent actually present in the room.
But not a UK agent?
Not a UK agent.
Okay. Sort of following on from that question, therefore, it has been suggested in relation to other cases of detainees in Pakistan, Egypt and Morocco that UK agents proposed questions to be asked under torture. Do you have any evidence that this happened in Uzbekistan?
No, I don't believe that we passed on questions for specific interrogees in Uzbekistan.
Okay. And also there have been allegations in relation to Pakistan, Egypt and Morocco that UK agents who were interviewing suspected terrorists at some stage should have known or must have known that the suspects had been tortured on a previous occasion in that country's custody. Is there any evidence of that happening in Uzbekistan?
I'm sorry, I don't quite understand what you mean, because...
Well, I'll try and be clearer.
Yeah.
Some of the cases, for example, in Pakistan, have alleged that the suspect was tortured by the Pakistan Secret Service, and then the British agent came along and asked the questions afterwards, when it should have been obvious to this is the allegation, to the UK agent that the individual concerned had been the subject of torture.
No, there were no UK agents meeting interrogees in Uzbekistan at all, as far as I'm aware.
And there's no evidence of any UK nationals or residents being tortured in Uzbekistan?
Not that I believe, no.
Thank you. Mr. Sharma.
Thank you. When you raised concerns with the FCO about the US intelligence material, what response did you expect?
I genuinely believed that there must be no awareness in Whitehall that the intelligence we were receiving was coming from torture. That was the premise on which I acted. So as having first checked with the American embassy via my deputy that it was credible that this information was coming from torture, these intelligence reports were coming from torture, I sent a report back, a telegram back in late October or early November of 2002 saying that we are receiving intelligence from torture, and I quite genuinely expected that I would get a response saying, well, we must stop getting that kind of intelligence from Uzbekistan. That was the reply I expected. In fact, I received no reply at all. So I then sent essentially the same telegram again at the end of January, beginning of February 2003, to which also I received no written reply. But I was summoned back to a meeting which took place in London in early March 2003, at which I was told it was better not to put these things in writing.
Thank you. In your experience, had the US and UK authorities previously taken a strong line against the use of information received under torture, or had you not encountered the issues before?
Actually, I had encountered the issue before when I was working in a unit known as the Embargo Surveillance Centre, which was tasked with preventing Iraqi attempts at weapons procurement in the run-up to the first Gulf War in the early 1990s. We were essentially an intelligence analysis unit, and then we would commission action. And the question of intelligence which appeared to have been obtained from torture did arise on that occasion. I had direct contact with the question then. And in fact, we did. As a unit, we actually reported directly to 10 Downing Street. We didn't report to a government department. We reported directly to number 10.
UK complicity on those occasions?
Well, no, on that occasion, we actually received a clear direction from the then Prime Minister, which was then Mrs. now Lady Thatcher, that we were not to use any intelligence which may have come from torture.
Thank you.
Okay, Lord Onslow.
You tell us in your memorandum that the senior FCO official told you that the security services found Uzbek intelligence received from the US to be useful. What value do you think the security services got from this material?
I found that puzzling, and I still find that puzzling, because whenever we were able to check out the intelligence separately, we never once found any of the intelligence. I'm talking about the British Embassy in Tashkent. When we were able to check it against facts in the ground in Tashkent, we never once found a piece of intelligence which was valuable. None of it related to any security threat to the UK. It was virtually all concerned solely with the alleged Islamist threat to President Karimov and his government in Uzbekistan. And much of it was simply untrue. It was quite easily to demonstrate it was untrue. And if I can just give one example, and I could give many, but just to give one example, there was intelligence pointing to a jihadist training camp in the hills just over the Uzbek border. And it happened that...
Over the Uzbek border where? In Afghanistan or...?
It was actually in Tajikistan.
Tajikistan, yes.
Yeah. And actually, my defence attaché, Colonel Ridout, had been to the precise coordinates given and knew for a fact there was nothing there. And that was fairly typical. The intelligence material was being provided to the CIA by the Uzbek security services, and the point of it was to exaggerate the threat to President Karimov's government in order to justify, if you like, the alliance with the Karimov regime.
Did you see the majority of this intelligence so you could make that judgment?
I saw all of it, I believe.
You saw all of it?
I believe so.
And so, help me here. In your view, it was basically totally useless, only concerned with internal Uzbek.
Yeah, I'd say over 95% of it was concerned with internal Uzbek. Some of it was concerned with other parts of Central Asia. I might call one piece which was concerned with Germany, but none of it related to anything like a specific terrorist plot in Europe, for example.
And did this information come via the CIA, or did any of it come direct to you from Uzbeks?
No, it came to me from MI6, who had received it from the CIA. So, in fact,
I meant the embassy rather than...
Yes. It would go from the American embassy in Tashkent back to Washington, from Washington to London, and from London to me. That was the route by which I was receiving it.
So none of it came directly to you or anyone in your embassy from the Uzbeks?
No.